Afternoon, y'all. Chris Turner here with Gear Snobs Anonymous. You know, there's a lot of people out there trying to build their own home defense rifle, CQB rifle, Minuteman, Be Ready Guy rifle. It doesn't have to be mid, it doesn't have to be high tier, it doesn't have to be low tier, it has to work. And that's the best part about being able to build your own rifle, is you make it work. So what we've got here is what we're calling the Judgment build. This is a 10.3. There's something special just about on every single piece. A great foundation is where it all starts, and that's of course with your lower. Now, I heard something from a great man a long time ago, that a mil-spec lower is a mil-spec lower, and that's true. I'm actually using the first lower I ever purchased. It was made by PSA. I know that's gonna make a lot of y'all mad, but as long as everything else in it is quality material, quality construction, it's gonna function just like it needs to, and y'all see that here shortly. But off that PSA, inside we've got a Geissele trigger. For the lower parts kit, we're running forward controls designs, system controls. Moving up the rifle, we've got a full holosun setup. We're running an AEMS on a unit riser so that it sits a little bit higher. It's at 2.26, so it works great with knots if you need to do any night shooting or anything like that. And then behind that, we're actually running an HM3XT. This is their titanium version of their 3X magnifier. Now, for a while, you couldn't actually find Unity's specific mount that you needed to be able to flip to center. So yes, this is a China mount. I'm not gonna sit and act like it's not. It's made by Spec Precision. Now, Unity actually has their own mount setup for an FTC that allows you to attach an HM3XT, and it lines up perfect. Moving back from the optics, we're running a Geissele AHC charging handle. But the coolest part about a lot of the Geissele charging handles is they actually have a wall that's somewhat cupped, and it causes all of the gas returning back through the firearm to move itself forward. Keeps a lot of that carbon off your face. The less lead that we can deal with, the better. We want to stay as healthy as we can. But moving forward on the rifle, on another Unity riser, we've got a SMS Lasers HFXC laser. This is a 100% civilian laser. It's extraordinarily affordable. You have a low power mode, and if you know the right button presses and the right twists of the knobs and stuff, you can actually set it to high power, and it functions very, very well. It's got multiple modes, IR, visible light, visible laser, and then of course it's got a illuminator on there that you can almost focus down to a second laser. It sends out a perfect and great beam. You'll see a lot of other reviews out there if you want to go look at exactly how it functions. Moving forward, we're going to go ahead and move up to the Handguard. Now, when you start changing handguards on firearms, the less metal and meat you got, the more heat it's going to soak up and start to dissipate into your hands faster. So we're running a Geissele Federal handguard. They are amazing guards. They give you the options between running a bit of pick rail and also being able to run M-locks and being able to switch back and forth between your solutions. It gives you more range. It gives you an opportunity to use another device if you need to. But wrapping all of it, we're actually running rail scales. These are their G10s. It keeps a lot of that thermal dissipation from going into your hands. Moving down on the rifle, we're running Thril furniture in a lot of different positions. From their not so vertical foregrip to their actual grip itself for the rifle. One of the cool parts about Thril, all of their stuff is 3D printed, but it's 3D printed in a manner that it has a, how do I put this? It's more rugged. It has more of an impact resistance. And the way that they 3D print the textures on all of their grips, it's a little more aggressive than you would expect. If you're the type like me where your hands get extra sweaty when you're out shooting, it makes it easier for you to keep your grip on your rifle, keep control, and ride those controls. I'm a huge fan of Thril and what they're doing and the way that they're putting some really cool technology and using some modern materials. To kind of complete our handguard, on the lower we're running a Kratos handstop. Their Kratos design is doing also some really cool 3D printing technology into their different solutions that they have. So between the two, it gives you the ability to set the rifle exactly where you need it, when you need it, and it's not going to move. And it gives you a pressure point on the front of the rifle just in case you are at a barricade that you can actually press into that object. We're running an Arasaka mount, and then on top of that we're running a Surefire turbo light. Right now it is the brightest light on the market. One thing about the Surefire is if you are in a smaller room, it will light that whole entire thing up and can cause a lot of flood, but also a lot of bleed through. Whereas the HFXC, with it being a little lower lumen count, doesn't cause as much bleed over when you're using a light source. On the top of it, I've got the standard HFXC button, and then I'm actually running a Unity hot button that attaches to the Surefire, so I can switch back and forth between my illumination solutions and run them in tandem, or run one at a time, or if one were to go down, I can immediately switch to the other. Up front, we're running a Polonium by Otter Creek. This is not their K variant, this is their standard model. And then we're running rear dim furniture on the front of this CHF Geissele barrel. There's two key pieces that when it comes to this system, you have to have tuned in to the best of your ability. One is gonna be your bolt carrier. I'm just running a standard Microbest, nothing crazy. They are great. I run them in multiple rifles. I like their chrome variant. I'm running that in my 16-inch, but this has just got their standard black nitride. It still functions the way that it's supposed to. And then of course behind that, we're running a Super 42 spring. This is an H2 buffer. It runs perfectly smooth. As far as the exterior of the rifle on the rear, we have a Sylvan Firearms SD5. All steel construction. On the back end, we're running B5 Furniture's SOPMOD stock, and I really prefer theirs. It gives you a great cheek weld when you need one, if you're not running fast or moving quick. But also along with that, it gives you enough purchase against your shoulder that just about no matter how you manipulate the firearm, you keep good contact with it no matter what you're doing. The last couple of little pieces, stuff that isn't the most important, but I like to go over and talk about real quick. I run Magpul Pro M-Buses. I do run an MTS sling. There's a ton of great slings out there on the market. I specifically like MTSs just because I like MTS. We've got a Neomag Sentry strap. It's great for stowing your sling. It is super easy, simple enough. You just pull your sling up, strap your Sentry strap over, the magnet grabs it, and it sits where it's supposed to. But I also use it for one other reason. When I'm out running by myself, I don't like having my pack timer down here on my belt or in my pocket. I actually run it on my Sentry strap because it sits right here where I can quickly manipulate it. And I can practice my reps. One company you may have heard of, may not have heard of, and if you haven't heard of them, what rock have you been under, is 100 Concepts. They make signal reduction solutions for your lights and other reflective surfaces on your rifle, from the tip of your light to your laser, and even a lot of optics that are out there in the world. I severely suggest you check them out. They're not expensive, but they're a great thing to have. It keeps you from accidentally setting off one of your illumination sources on your rifle. The main one that I use it for on this one specifically is my Surefire Turbo. That thing is bright, and if I accidentally ND the switch for it, it's gonna give me away, and it's gonna light up whatever area I might be in. We'll put a couple rounds down range, we'll plink some steel, we'll hit some infinity targets, and we'll show you how she shoots.